Are you having difficulty focusing? You may have an eye problem. We help people with eye diseases such as cataracts and glaucoma and have almost 20 years experience in eye surgery, including microsurgery for cataracts, lasers, and eye plastic surgery, including bulges under eyelids. Transportation can be provided for your surgery. Please call me, Dr. Elaine Schulman, at 718-748-9500.
Come to All Language Services for round-the-clock, prompt, accurate, and confidential translations. We can translate all your important documents, including birth certificates, marriage and divorce certificates, school diplomas, driver's licenses, technical reports, contracts, and advertising from and into 59 different languages. Our unique and diversified services meet translation requirements of top U.S. corporations and private individuals in all specialized fields, such as law, medicine, and science.
Annette said, I expect my husband 20 years from now to be exactly what he is today. And Mary says, but that's unreasonable. Annette says, yes, that's exactly what he is today. Folks, this little book is the Glendora Happy Book. Are you happy? This little book can help you. It can help you get your thought and your life in order. Send $3 and we'll send you 3 Glendora Happy Books and 3 Glendora money pens with $1,000 inside, all ground up in pieces by the Federal Reserve Bank. But it surely would be nice to see you happy.
Magic Tile, your ideas or ours. We are Stamford's full-service tile center and will beat any price in the tri-state area. Magic Tile offers a diverse quality and quantity of domestic and imported ceramic tiles from all over the world. Magic Tile features a full selection of top-line commercial and residential tiles. We have custom installations by our own expert craftsmen, both residential and commercial. Let us beautify every part of your home and office. Magic Tile. Discover the warmth of country dining at the Three Bears restaurant in lovely Westport, Connecticut. Less than an hour from the city, this former inn beckons you to its Sunday brunch or weekend dinner. The Three Bears boasts fresh seafood, prime rib, double-cut lamb chops, Long Island duckling, veal, and tasty Italian dishes. Whether a family get-together or a more intimate occasion, our courteous staff and reasonable prices will impress you. The Three Bears. Make a new friend this weekend. Have you put up with old, undependable, dangerous electrical service long enough? Then call Athena Electric for state-of-the-art safe installations that meet code standards. Athena Electric. Our service is fast and fair. Industrial, commercial, and residential. Emergency service. Free estimates. Senior citizen discounts. Call Athena Electric Service today. Bridgeport 203-336-0412.
Policeman said to Carol, "Your license says you should be wearing glasses." And Carol says, "But I have contacts." And the policeman says, "It doesn't matter who your friends are, you're going to get a ticket anyway." Folks, this is a Glendora Happy book. Are you happy? This little book can show you how you can be, how you can get your thought and your life into order. Send $3 and we'll send you 3 Glendora Happy books and 3 Glendora money pins with $1,000 inside, all ground up into pieces by the Federal Reserve Bank. It surely would be nice to see you happy. of Fairfield, one of America's oldest Honda dealerships, has a huge inventory of Honda motorcycles, scooters, ATVs, and accessories. Parmalee also features a fine Ducati line of motorcycles from Italy, including the all-new Ducati Passo 750. Parmalee Honda has an award-winning service department. This is the motorcycle season. They're selling fast. Don't be left out. See the motorcycle professionals now at Parmalee Honda next to I-95, exit 23 in Fairfield. Put off long enough remodeling your home? Then call today A&L Home Remodeling of Bridgeport. We're siding specialists. Vinyl siding with Durafoam insulation, fiberglass roofing, storm windows and doors, thermal replacement windows, seamless gutters, and leaders. A&L Home Remodeling beautifies your house. Awnings, concrete, painting, and carpentry. All work guaranteed in writing. Fully insured and workman's compensation. Call 24 hours, office and showroom. Looking for the right company to move your precious household? Let Atlas take you home. Call County Van & Storage today. One phone call brings you Atlas superior service at reasonable prices. We do expert packing, international packing, and crating. County Van & Storage specializes in office moving, electronics, and exhibits. Local, nationwide, and worldwide. Free estimates, no obligation. 20 years of experience. County Van & Storage, your Atlas Van Lines agent. Call Sestaro Furniture Refinishing today and discuss what we can do to bring your furniture back to life. Sestaro has a wide choice of finishes, lacquer colors, pickling, and wood finishes.
Don't throw your old bedroom sets, your dining room sets away. Bring them to us, and we'll refinish them.
Don't spend your hard-earned money on new furniture when Sestaro can refinish it to look like new. Sestaro, just a few minutes off the Garden State Parkway and Route 80 in West Patterson. This is going to be take 2, 1, 2, and we really have to travel. Hi folks, how are you today? John went to the Marriage License Bureau and he asked how much it costs to get married, and the clerk says it costs $6 for the license and 1 paycheck a week for the rest of your life. Bob says now that he's married, he knows why they call English the mother tongue. Father never gets a chance to use it. Paul says his favorite trick is playing his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of the church a free man. But married or not, you can still be happy, and the Glendora Happy Book shows you how. Send $3 and you get 3 Glendora Happy Books and 3 Glendora Money Pens. Thanks. Thanks very much. When you have an ugly, embarrassing bathtub, don't despair. Instead, repair. Your old bathtub tile and sink can be resurfaced to look like new. Call Superior Porcelain Resurfacing today and hear about our low, affordable prices. Superior Porcelain Resurfacing will give you a free phone estimate. We have all colors, we provide non-skid surfaces, we repair chips, commercial and residential, all work done at your home or place of business. Manhattan Interior Supply, your complete acoustical and drywall distributor. We are open at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday for pickups. Delivery starting at 7 a.m. Conveniently located 2 minutes from either the 59th Street Bridge or Midtown Tunnel. We have a huge and competitively priced inventory available for immediate delivery. Our courteous and knowledgeable sales staff is waiting to serve you. Call Manhattan Interior Supply, 718-706-0144. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi folks, how are you today? John asks the Marriage License Bureau, how much does it cost to get married? And the clerk says $6 for the license and 1 paycheck a week for the rest of your life. And John says now that he's married, he knows why they call English the mother tongue. Father never gets a chance to use it. Paul says his favorite trick is playing his wedding videotape backwards so he can see himself walk out of the church a free man. But married or not, you can still be happy, and the Glendora Happy Book will show you how. Send $3 and you'll get 3 Glendora Happy Books and 3 Glendora Money Pens. Four, 3. April the 7th, 1995, Friday, from Nassau County, Cablevision, Long Island, from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Channel 25. Hi there, it's Glendora, Glendora TV ad, Glendora Happy Book, Glendora Cheerful Look at Life, Chat with Glendora. Leave your name and your number and I'll try to answer your question. John bought a used car and he said he wasn't sure how far back the odometer had been set, but the mileage was in Roman numerals. Okay, now we'll press the smart button. 5, 6 flashes. There were 7 calls.
Hello, my name is Jim. My number is 516-968-4662. Thank you.
968-4062.
Glendora, this is Ira calling from Canon Corral in Huntington, Long Island. Phone number 516-549-1544. That's where you can reach me most of the time. Or in the mornings at 421-2010. That's at 9 o'clock in the morning. From there I go off to 549-1544. Have a nice day.
You too. Ira.
What is this all about, man? Who is this for? 516-565-2323. What is this all about? This is what we refer to as a doofus. Thank you.
Watch another channel.
back, but I wasn't in. And I just happened to be watching you again on television for the evening. I'm the attorney in Nassau County, 516-564-9753. Give me a call when you get a chance. I'll try and call you back. Really interested in this Glendora versus Scott Lord et al. But perhaps you can tell me why Judge Hall and Judge Duperstein have been named on your lawsuit. I'd really be interested to learn that. Okay, please give me a call back and we'll try and chat about this, right? Have a good night.
Okay, Michael Rose.
How can I get on TV like you?
Call.
I want to know how any village idiot is allowed to talk on the air like you. Give me a call. My phone number is 516-484-9542. I want to be on TV.
Call Tom Garger in Hicksville.
Funny.
Okay, there was one more. And there should be a joke somewhere every week. These are the 8mm archives that have been done and have to be filed away. Over there are the next archives to be made. And right now here in the middle, I was queuing up the next tape to be videotaped on. These are the accessories that go into the backpack. They have to be all repacked, and the cables have to be all put on with a twister. Make things nice and neat. These are the 3/4 inch that had to all be labeled. Program 1736 up to 1741 or 2, I guess, to get ready to edit next week, next Thursday at TCI. I don't have to edit this week. At Wednesday, all the editing got done by the whiz kid Franco. Oh yeah, the joke. The joke is Bob and Joan have a car that breaks down so often. They bought the perfect second car, a tow truck. They're bad. For 2 hours Sunday afternoon from about an hour, 1:32 to 2:32 p.m. Sunday, April the 9th, 1995. These are the girls from 3C, and that hit the house, and it's also 2B. And you want to know why the lawn is being killed. That's the reason, and that hit the house. This is how the lawn is being killed. This is Sunday afternoon, April the 9th, 1995. This one right here. This one right here. Just kick the ball into the window. Into our northeast bedroom window. That one right there. just kicked the ball into the windows of the northeast bedroom. Right there. The time is 3:04 p.m. on April the 9th, 1995, Sunday. This kid is not a tenant.
He did not hit your window. Let us hit up there, and it fell. I kicked the back ball. No, I kicked it right over there.
Yes, you did.
On top of this thing, right
Yes, you did.
there. What? I don't need Dan, so like there's a video there. They're gonna wake up. See, you don't know this. Melissa, come here. How did you do that? Did you eat one of that? She always does that. Did you eat one of that? Not the real way.
Porzio says no playing on the lawn. The landlord says no playing on the grass. Well, here's your evidence as to who is killing the grass. This has been going on for 2 hours.
We could play on the grass. They told us we could.
And who are you
And we're not
talking
doing
to?
anything bad. Me?
These girls live in 3C and 2B.
We're allowed to play on the grass.
They live in 3C and 2B.
She's crazy.
This isn't your grass. We're allowed to play here. We live there.
And there. And there. What are we doing? I know. All we're doing is talk.
Okay,
Don't do that.
that's the same one who kicked the ball into the building before, right here.
Well, maybe
Excuse me, we don't want to be
know.
videotaped. Excuse me, and you have no right to be videotaping us.
If you know so much about laws, why don't you stop videotaping us? You have no permission.
And we're not above the noise level.
And we're not destroying the
That girl lives in 2D or 3D.
Nobody cares, right?
4D, no, not 4D, 3D, 2D. And this one is,
Nobody wants to be on television.
he is not an antenna.
What channel is it beyond, and what's the time?
Oh, is this the kind of
This comes on
movie?
TV. Yes. You're gonna put us to TV?
Oh, that's nice.
Right there, just threw the ball. She lives in 2B. She just threw the ball at our bathroom window.
Why are you
Good.
repeating everything 10 times?
Nobody wants to see your little show.
This is the girl who threw the ball at the window. She lives in 2B.
Throw the ball out the window. She's sorry, okay? Now.
She lives in 2B. Let's get a close-up of her right there.
Okay, picture perfect.
And her name is Calabrese.
Excuse me, we don't want to be videotaped. Hey, you can just go away.
Go away.
She's reading such facts.
Oh.
This is Calabrese who just threw the ball against her window.
We didn't hit your window with the ball.
We are allowed to play in the grass. We have nowhere else to play.
You don't even know her and you're making...
John Porzio, I want you to see this evidence of the kids killing the grass.
No, we always have we're allowed. Oh, you don't have anywhere else. Now you have evidence of seeing Glendora. We want to play
Okay, now this is the boy who threw the ball at the building. This is Calabrese who threw the ball up against my bathroom window.
So I wouldn't be talking.
There she goes right now. She lives in 2B.
No, we have nowhere else to play. My last name isn't Calabrese, so I wouldn't be talking. No, we live here. We play on the grass right there. We have nowhere else to play.
Okay, the time is 3:18 p.m. On April the 9th, 1995, Sunday. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I can count to 7. I can even count to 20.
Okay, it's 6:30 again. It's April 9th, a violation of the White Plains Noise Ordinance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is Sunday, April the 9th. That's 2B. And that's 4D. And that's 3C. That's 4D.
Oh, we're tearing up the grass by standing on it. Woo! You can't videotape people for playing Spud. Come on, Grandma doesn't even know what it is. Let's go. Everybody dance. Come on, say it. Everybody dance. Everybody dance. No, wait a second. We have permission to play. What number? We have permission to play on. Hello, we're playing Spud. Mommy! Stop! Mom! Look at Caitlin! Stop. No. Mom! She's annoying us! She's harassing me! S-P-U-D. No. Mom! Mommy! Could you please stop? You said please. Come on, Alyssa! Oh! Yes!
Any noise, White Plains Ordinance, and destruction of the lawn. Time, 7:38 p.m. April 9, 95, Sunday.
Returning your call. Bye.
This is Brian Grafman returning my call. Bye. Thank you, Brian. Okay, bye. Here's Frankie boy. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's the fourth time today, and today is April the 11th, 1995, Tuesday. The time is 4:32 p.m. That really makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? To go up the stairs in rollerblades, come down the stairs in rollerblades, go up the stairs in rollerblades, and come down the stairs in rollerblades. James Walsh and guest, grounds for eviction. Calls that came in last night, which would be April the 11th, 1995, Tuesday. Chat with Glendora was on 4 cable systems yesterday. East Hampton, Amagansett, Montauk. Number 2, TCI in Westchester. And number 3, TKR, Rockland and Northern Jersey. And number 4, the Nassau program was switched from Friday night to Tuesday night. So here are all of the I think there must have been something like 9 in-calls. I was asleep and I didn't count them all. It's a blank, I guess. No, that was a test. That was a test.
Hi, I'd like a Happy Joke book. It's Mrs. Gaglione, 221 Park Avenue, East Lansing, New York, 10604. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Glendora, my name is Willis Merrill. I'm calling from the Rockland County area in Nyack. My number is 914-358-9048. You know, you're saying just the cable vision here is like a monopoly. I don't know too much about the suit you have. I see it says Glendora versus the cable company. But it's the same thing with the phone companies. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. We got another major player in long-distance phone service that just jumped in, and they're charging these ridiculous rates. I mean, so it's not just Cablevision. There's a lot of monopolies out there. A lot of people playing a big monopoly game, and it should be, all of them should be investigated by the Attorney General. But what I just want to ask is why isn't, or maybe you can find out for me, is why isn't the Attorney General going after these big guys? Is it just maybe because they have so much money, nobody can touch them? I mean, these $1 million or $1 billion companies? Maybe you can answer that question for me. Thank you, Glendora.
Yeah, it's a good comment. I agree with you.
Hi, my name is Glenn, at area code 516-599-5251. And I'm a paralegal, and if you ever need any of my services, please feel free to give me a call. Thank you very much. Bye. Yeah, Glendora, you are really a moron. I cannot believe that you are wasting your time
What is your name?
and wasting everybody else's time with
What's
this
your telephone number?
crapola that you have on television. My name is Ron, 516-285-3010. You are one lady who is definitely in need of some kind of mental health. You are really a sicko.
Accomplice. Cablevision accomplice.
What? You little bitch.
Cablevision accomplice.
What the hell is this crap on cable? Get this lunatic off the air. Do something useful with your time, you moron.
Cablevision accomplice.
Glendora, I have several questions about yourself versus Daniel Byrd and James Walsh and Neela. This is very, very interesting. If you give me a call at 516-739-0995, I'd really like to speak to you about this.
Sure thing.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And I think there are many more that didn't make it to the telephone answering machine. So that's the in-calls for April 11, 1995, Tuesday. So that's the girls in 3C and 2B and 4D, and this has been going on for almost a year. And the poor grass is murdered. It's right down to the soil. All the grass has been killed. The landlord has said no playing on the lawn. Naturally, you can see why. He just ruined it, murdered it. And I have told the landlord that they're playing on the lawn. Playing is not the question. There's two questions here: murdering the lawn and the White Plains noise ordinance. It has nothing to do with playing. There was a man who came out and shouted through our bathroom window from the outside, "Glendora, Glendora, is there a problem with the children playing?" And it is not a question of playing. The laws that are broken are the murdering of the grass, and that's our warranty of habitability, a change of terms. The noise, the White Plains noise ordinance. I was busy down on my knees when he was shouting through the bathroom window. I was busy down on my knees cutting the ravels on the rugs. And Franklin was busy typing some legal paper. And so we did not confront him. So, that Michael Merrill, who called and talked about the monopoly and said such accurate things about it, he's very good. I called him back. I'd returned all of those calls, and he called back, and he expounded again on monopoly, and he's right. I told him that he should have a television show, and I told him he should go see Jonathan Arnold, who's a sweetheart, at TKR, and set up having his own public access show and get his view before the public, because there's many people who will commiserate with him, and thereby we have power in the numbers, and something's got to be done about this. Okay, now we're going to start a chat with Glendora for what happened on the week of April the 6th to today, April the 13th. We go from Thursday to Thursday because we videotape on Thursday everything that happened the previous week, and then we edit it at TCI under the expertise of Franco de Rose. Never misses a trick. Well, he's very, very good. He's very good. I think he's irreplaceable. I don't think anybody can do the job that Franco de Rose does every Thursday on my editing at TCI from 4 to 7 p.m. First joke of the day: walked up to the post office clerk and he says, "I want $50 worth of stamps." And the post office clerk says, "What denomination?" And Edgar said, "Baptist." Old sales clerks never die, folks. Or if they do, it's really hard to tell. And Bob said he just got a COD package, and his son says, "Daddy, what does COD stand for?" And Bob says COD stands for crushed on delivery. The first report of the week is on Scott Lord. And on the week of March the 20th, Scott Lord required $5.50 and cost $13.36. And let's see what happened on the next week. Scott Lord cost an hour and he cost zero money in an hour time. The pagination is up to 5,934. He is soon going to 6,000. The only other law-breaking group that went to 6,000 so far is Cablevision, and they have gone to 7,000. They're the worst of all. They're even worse than Scott Lord. In the Supreme Court of the United States, October term 1994, the Solicitor General, I told you, is not going to intervene. We have the number of hours on Scott Lord. It isn't added up as two, but it looks to me like 5 3/4, and the cost looks like 0. And we've started volume 52. This is volume 51, Scott Lord. This is volume 52 that has started. and he is finally up to 6,000 pages. I told you about the man in the lawn sprinkling business by whom Scott Lord was ripped off for something like $9,000. He never joined into the bankruptcy fight. He never got paid anything. But he wants to see Scott Lord in jail. And he called me up and told me that he had got a copy of this flyer by Scott Lord. And it's for Evergreen Sprinkler. And he says since 1985. It says that, and this is not so, because, you know, this is, by the way, this is Scott Lord's address for this year. Just a second, folks. Obviously, we don't have time to fix it. This is Scott Lord's address for this year, 300 Hempstead Turnpike, West Hampstead. This is his telephone number for this year, 516-292-0500. We don't know the name of his lawyer for this year. Every year he gets a new company name, a new address, a new telephone, and a new lawyer. And it says for Evergreen Sprinkler since 1985. Last year his names were the Scott Lord Group, doing business as Atlantis Lawn Sprinkler. He's worn Lord Group, doing business as Atlantis Lawn Sprinkler. He's worn that one out. And I think he had for Evergreen. And this is a coupon for $100 off. And he says here he's insured and that he has a home improvement license number of 35009500000. I haven't had time to check the Department of Consumer Affairs and find out if this is true or not. We move on here to the decision that came from the United States Supreme Court on Glendora versus Judge Conrad Duberstein, Judge Robert John Hall, former United States Attorney Andrew Maloney, former United States Trustee Harold Jones, former United States Assistant Trustee O'Neill Mann, present United States Trustee, Assistant United States Trustee Teresa Kavanaugh, Richard O'Connell, the panel trustee, Joseph Derby, who is hired by Pinkerton for security over at the Westbury Bravado Road Bankruptcy Court, Scott Lord, who started all this, Jan Stahl, and Jeffrey Barnes, the two people he committed fraudulent conveyances with. This is a protest to that decision and to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Glendora says, please refer to your unnamed paper of March the 27th, 1995. The court today entered the following order in the above entitled case. Sorry, folks, hold on. Wants to know who is the court. Don't people have names? Somebody with a name has to be accountable. Do you know what the court stood up for? A, two judges, Duberstein and Hall, who broke their trust, who were negligent, who vitiated their oath, who embarrassed the United States of America. B, another judge in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, Gerard Gattel, who covered up for them and by hook or crook got them out of it. C, 3 more judges in the next court up, the United States Court of Appeals, the Second Circuit, Winter, Jacobs, Cabranes, who covered up for the 3 judges below. This is what the court stood up for. Try to explain that to a kid in the country that boasts with, quote, liberty and justice and all, for all. You stood up for crooked judges and other law-breaking public officers of the United States of America. You, the highest court in the land, did this. Here you should be setting them straight, and you are led by them. Your record stands forever. It went on TV this week, and you give not a word of explanation. Glendora writes you 50 pages, works 50 hours. You return her 3 lines. You give no reasons. It is a recorded announcement. How does anybody even know that they read it? How do you know that? Why did they lie to us in school about the courts? Glendora did what was right, good, and true. She uncovered the corruption. She reported it. She exposed it. She took it to court, i.e. courts and courts and courts. Again, we have hollow black robes. Again, we have hollow black robes. Supreme Court of the United States. Judge Rehnquist flees to Greensboro, Vermont to get away from it all. Glendora does not wonder. It is ugly. Glendora's minister, Church of the Highlands, White Plains, has a house near his. Well, the cover-up is gossamer. We can see through it and always will. We spend 50 hours telling you what happened, read your rules, spend our Social Security and pension checks on print and post, spend our lifetime in labor, and you ship us 3 anonymous lines. Madam Justice is dead. Did you go to her funeral? Sir, court reform is deceased also. You think this is the kind of America Franklin offered his life for June 6, 1944, D-Day? Courts are on the side of crooks. I was fool enough to believe what I was taught in 9th grade civics class. The courts are there to do justice. One is wrong. One goes to court to find justice. It has died. The bad guy goes scot-free, and that's a capital S. The good guy gets clobbered. The courts are broken down, shut the doors, closed for repairs, out of order. We have spent $11,000 believing a school lie, believing propaganda. There is justice. Tell people the truth. Courts don't function anymore. You can't deal with it anymore. Thank you at least for not robbing me of $300. Courts are the worst consumer fraud in America. And here's today's joke. Harold beats the high cost of gasoline going to work. He gets on I-95, turns off the ignition, and lets the other cars push him to work. Yours in truth, Glendora. So, that brings you up to date on the Scott Lord law breaking. Scott Lord, well, the United States Supreme Court, the case that went to the federal bankruptcy court, to the Westchester Supreme Court, was removed to the United States District Court 2 or 3 times, and I kept taking it back to the Westchester Supreme Court. Ended up with Gattel's decision in the United States District Court, and then went to the United States Court of Appeals, Cabranes, Winter, and Judge in Jacobs, and then went to the United States Supreme Court. I guess that case is at the end. And now, what is pending? We are waiting for a decision from the Appellate Division, 2nd Department, State of New York Supreme Court on the bad decision by Judge Samuel B. Fredman. But then you don't get anything but bad decisions from the Westchester County Supreme Court. So we're waiting for that, and that's where things stand now on Scott Lord. Before we move on to the law breaking this week of Cablevision, you know, it's one thing to break the law, then the next thing is to lie and cover up. Why don't they simply say, we broke the law, we're sorry, we atone, we amend, and it's over? But no, this has to go on year after year after year. That is not smart management. They all should be replaced. Jokes. The minister said, the poor are always welcome in this church. I've always said that. And I can see by the looks of the collection this morning they have arrived. And the little boy says, Mommy, did you say the name of the preacher is Reverend or Never End? And Ed was asked, do you have a good minister in your church? And Ed says, yes. At the end of every sermon there's a great awakening. The logs because of all of the law breaking and the lying and the cover-up and all the legal papers back and forth, everything got backed up, and so these logs never got out. And here is the log for, just a second, these are out of order. Here's the log for the week of March the 20th, 1995, and it is 22 pages. And so that has been all gone through and added up the 77 3/4 hours on that week. I worked on Cablevision 77 3/4 hours. We worked, Franklin and I. The expense was $26. I spent $26 of our money on Cablevision. The pagination is, Cablevision is up to 6,674 pages of bad record. And this log is going to be printed today and sent to 3 persons, Gilman Burke of Sadley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke, and to Charles Former and his brother Pro Former, and to Irvin Polinsky of Cablevision. This is what happened the week of, no, this is what happened in the Judge Brieant court. This is my account of it, and Franklin's shorthand, and Franklin's transcription of his shorthand. I am having a terrible time with Angela O'Connell and Sue, the court reporters, trying to get the minutes for March the 3rd and trying to get the minutes for March the 24th. Excuse me. I'm running a clip joint here. So that will be printed today and posted, I hope. Now here is the third part of this huge mailing that has been backed up for 4 weeks. This is the Glendora TV log as to what happened the week of March the 27th, 1995. And this is mailing 125, and it's up to 7,698 pages, the Cablevision law breaking. That's part 3 of this huge mailing. Think how much that's going to cost. Probably $5 an envelope. We got enough enemies with Cablevision. We don't need the post office to be our enemy. Now, this is what happened on last week, the week of April the 3rd, 1995, on Glendora versus the law-breaking management of Cablevision Systems Corporation, i.e. the Long Island system. This is the fattest log of all. And did I tell you, did I total the hours for you? Yes, the week of April the March the 27th, Cablevision required $27.5 hours and $0. And let's do this one before we forget it. These pages are affectionate, they're stuck on each other. Third, Cablevision cost us 17.5 hours and $0. Now, we'll have to stop here because we got a decision on this. This is very exciting. Kalaji wrote to, not a grown-up legal paper, but a letter. Robert M. Kalaji, Sadley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke. And he wrote this letter At the hearing on March the 24th, 1995, the court stated that the mandate issued by the Second Circuit by the Van Gryphelen panel requires it to address the issue of whether plaintiff has a private right of action to enforce 47 United States Code Section 531E. While the opinion rendered by its sibling panel, which had affirmed Judge Broderick's dismissal of plaintiff's complaint, which alleged exactly this cause of action in the related case, Glendora versus Dolan, 94 Sib 2129, might have, the court stated that because the Van Gryphelen panel mandates post-dated the Dolan opinion by 5 weeks, and the panel can be presumed to have had either actual or constructive notice of the Dolan opinion, its mandate in this case effectively overruled Dolan. Defendants are greatly prejudiced by this presumption, as they are forced to relitigate an issue which has already been finally decided and affirmed when there is no affirmative indication that the Second Circuit intended this result. There was no discussion in the mandate one way or the other indicating that the Van Gryphelen panel even considered the effect of its sibling panel's affirmance in the Dolan case. It is unfair to require the defendants to continue to litigate this issue based solely on an inference drawn from the dates of the respective opinions, when it is possible the opinion in this case, which was argued before the Second Circuit 2 months before the Dolan case was actually written weeks before the opinion of the Dolan panel. The issue of collateral estoppel was not before the Second Circuit, and we simply do not know what it would have ruled had it addressed the issue. You know, this is the old Kalaji thing that I've told you about dozens of times. When he's in one court, he's talking about what's happening in another court. When he's in one court, this is because he has no meritorious defense. He has no defense. So he's always trying to get out of the court that he's in, because he has no defense, and get it into another court. When he's in state court, he's talking about federal court. When he's in federal court, he's talking about state court. And now he's in the United States District Court, so now he's talking about the United States Court of Appeals. See, this is what it's all about. All these words are adding up to what I just told you. In light of the uncertainty the court feels was engendered by the two opinions, defendants request that the court entertain a motion to submit the question of whether collateral estoppel precludes plaintiff from relitigating her claims to the Second Circuit on an interlocutory appeal basis pursuant to 28 United States Code 1292B. And then he quotes it, but I don't think you have to hear that. The instant case presents just such a question on which there is uncertainty and substantial ground for difference of opinion as to which an opinion by the circuit court would materially advance the termination of this long-running litigation. Accordingly, defendants respectfully request that the court certify the question for immediate appeal to the Second Circuit and stay the proceedings herein until further certification is provided. See, he wants to stay it because he doesn't have a defense, and he can't come up with a defense. Okay, now that's his letter. Instead of a grown-up legal paper, we have a letter. United States District Court, Southern District of New York, Glendora plaintiff against Cablevision Systems Corporation, Charles F. Dolan, William J. Bell, Mark A. Lusgarten, Francis F. Randolph Jr., Joseph Tada, James A. Kofalt, Joseph Aznara, and William Quinn. 93 Civ 8344, Charles L. Brieant, on remand. Glendora opposes Kalaji letter to certify the question and stay. Affidavit. Honorable Charles L. Brieant presiding, Glendora being duly sworn deposed, and says her reasons follow for opposing Robert Kalaji's request that the court certify the question for immediate appeal to the Second Circuit and stay the proceedings herein until further clarification is provided. 1, this is not what the Second Circuit wants. The Second Circuit wants this matter resolved. 2, and fast. 3, Kalaji is always trying to get out of the court that he's in. He's in the district court now, and he wants to escape to the appeals court. If the case is in federal court, he wants to talk about state court. If the case is in state court, he wants to talk about federal court. 3/24/95, Friday, 9:45 a.m. Your Honor made it abundantly clear you did not want to deal with any courts but your own and the mandate to you of the Second Circuit. Kalagi has no basis for all of these other courts he keeps talking about. Broderick, Silverman, Appellate Division, Second Department, Second Circuit. He has a duty to your court to cease these contentions. It's embarrassing to see him so desperate. Glendora thinks he does it to get his fee for the week. He's down on his knees. This is not what you told him to do. You told him to answer the Amici papers. They submit April the 24th by May 8th, 1995. Glendora thinks these letters are so amateurish, so pro se. Why does he not submit a grown-up legal paper? Glendora hopes Judge Brieant will do what he did last February 1994, quote, treating your letter as a motion, it is denied. That is the best thing that could happen. My Amici called today and said they were submitting a letter in opposition to any stay. What Kalagi is really telling the court is that he cannot come up with a defense in this court. He's scared. He tried everything. Collateral estoppel, moot, NBC badge. Judge Silverman, Judge Broderick, Appellate Division, the public within, the franchise agreements, answering the wrong second amended complaint, not signed, not notarized, not submitted. You said no to him on all of these. Pursuant to Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, defendants have no meritorious defense and never will have. And Glendora should win on summary judgment. Glendora wants the minutes of 3/3/95 and 3/24/95. The court stenographers are not producing the same. Can you help Glendora out here the same way you did February 21st, 1995 with the clerks and the mandate? Pursuant to Rule 26A1, we should be getting our initial disclosures going. Are you on the Judicial Conference of the United States? Are you on the committees on rules of practice and procedure? Have you ever proposed any new rules? Judge Brieant, you should cut out the insults about my being a pro se. I have a constitutional right to be a pro se, and you took an oath to support the Constitution. It's good to have a pro se around the House. They keep things interesting. Wherefore, Plaintiff Glendora reiterates and incorporates by reference each and every allegation and all our other pleadings and submissions, as if fully set forth herein, and asks this court for 1. $31 million damages. 2. $2,000 costs and disbursements. 3. Any further and different relief as court deems proper. White Plains, New York, April 7, 1995. Glendora, Box 416, White Plains, New York, 10602. 914-949-949, sworn and subscribed before me before this 7th day of April, 1995. Zenny Johnson, who annoys me no end for charging $2 for a notary. And here we are from Brian Grafman, who is Glendora's amicus curiae, along with Robert T. Perry, and this letter is written by Grafman to the Honorable Charles L. Brieant. Glendora versus Cablevision. Dear Judge Brieant, as counsel for Amicus Curiae Media Access, New York, Manny, I submit this letter in support in response to the March 31st, 1995 letter of Mr. Kalagi, Cablevision's counsel. Contrary to his suggestion, the instant issue is highly inappropriate for a Section 1292B interlocutory appeal. As an initial matter, Cablevision's request is premature because the court has made no substantive determination adverse to Cablevision to require such an interlocutory appeal. Certainly there is no prejudice to Cablevision by its having to include in its brief, a brief that must be submitted in any event, the issue of private right of action under Section 531E, especially since Cablevision concedes it has already briefed that issue. It is almost laughable to suggest that an appeal of this legal issue will materially advance the ultimate termination of the litigation, quote unquote. This is Grafman writing to Judge Brieant. As concerns the merits, Cablevision is being less than candid with the court. The Van Grafelen panel was quite well aware of the earlier panel's decision. Mr. Kalagi himself sent a copy of the early opinion to each of the members of the Van Grafelen panel directly. And that's in violation, Mr. Grafman says, of Federal Rules of Appellate Procedure 28J, which requires that supplemental authorities be sent to the clerk of the court. See December 9th, 1994 letter of Kalaji, Exhibit 1, here too. This kid is brilliant. More important, both panels had a common member, Judge McLaughlin. Additionally, and dispelling any notion that the later panel did not get the point, Glendora herself sent the panel a copy of the earlier decision, along with an objection, quote-unquote, to Mr. Kalaji's December 9, 1994 letter, noting that the panel in the earlier case, quote, rested its decision on the grounds of res judicata. This confirms that the issue of 47 United States Code Section 531E was not before Judge Broderick, but raised 531E as part of the case before Judge Brieant, which this panel is reviewing. The issue of 531E was indeed raised in Glendora's complaint by her citation of the Missouri Knights versus Kansas City, which case clearly addressed 531E. Missouri Knights versus Kansas City was the first of only 2 cases cited by plaintiff Glendora. Citation admitted. This new decision on Glendora versus Dolan confirms, therefore, that this court should consider appellant's claim under 531E. Exhibit 2, here too. Finally, Manny co-counsel Robert Perry then sent the court a letter concurring in Glendora's submission, Exhibit 3, there too. The apparent confusion of the panels, this is by Perry, noted by your Honor, can quite readily be explained. Manny's brief to the Second Circuit noted in hindsight incorrectly that Glendora had not raised Section 531E in the instant complaint, a stance apparently shared by your Honor in the first decision. Only until just prior to the Second Circuit oral argument did counsel for Manny realize that by raising the Missouri Knights case, Glendora implicitly, albeit unartfully, raised Section 531E. Counsel for Manny did not have an opportunity to raise his new insight at the Second Circuit oral argument, although Glendora did touch upon the issue during her rebuttal, but it seemed to get lost in the mix. Only until after the decision of the first panel did the above referenced communications make clear to the second panel that the Section 531E issue, indeed, had been raised in the initial complaint. This is not Perry, this is Grafman, excuse me. Justice not to be denied, says Grafman. The second panel then did the right thing and addressed Section 531E. Significantly, the decision was not inconsistent with the first panel decision because the portion of the first panel's opinion affirming on res judicata, a threshold issue, moots out any portion of the opinion that might be thought to rest upon the merits of Section 531E. In any view of the matter, says Grafman, the Second Circuit, with a common member to the earlier panel, and quite well informed regarding the earlier opinion, made quite clear and quite correctly that the issue of Section 531E was one to be reckoned with in the instant action. A duplicate original of this letter is being submitted for filing with the clerk of the court. Respectfully submitted, Brian D. Grafman, Robert M. Callaghy, Esquire, Glendora, and Robert T. Perry, Esquire. That's the letter that Grafman refers to that Kalaji wrote, sending the Dolan opinion to the Brieant appeal panel, the Van Graflin panel. And that's Glendora's letter. And this is Perry's letter. Both of these were read to you at the time they were served and submitted. Are you ready for the decision? How did Judge Brieant decide this? The decision's here. Go ahead, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to say how you think Judge Brieant decided this. Endorsement. Glendora versus Cablevision et al. 93 Civ 8344. The court declines to grant the within application for an interlocutory appeal pursuant to Title 28 U.S. Code Section 1291B. See generally Filanto versus Chilowich. So ordered. Victory! Kalaji is really desperate now. He can't come up with a defense before the Judge Brieant court. So he asked for this interlocutory appeal. And now he's got to come up with a defense. And now, as you all know, he has no defense. Cablevision has no defense. They broke a law, 531E. No cable operator shall exercise editorial control over public use of channel. He's lost. Won on that one, the crooks lost. So that's the fourth part of this huge mailing that got backed up for 4 weeks. And I want you to know that it took me 4 hours yesterday to file the Cablevision papers, to paginate them. They're up to over 7,000, I think it's 7,600, and to get the logs up to date and to get this mailing ready to be the master made and then ready to be printed. These are all done. It's the SIR reply, which was read to you at great length for several programs. Those are all done, the reduced copy. And so, and here are the 3 envelopes to be addressed and for that to go out. So there's another half hour's work getting it ready to be printed. It's an hour travel time and getting the job done to get it printed, and then it's a half an hour to get it posted, and it's probably going to cost something like $15. We're already report on Cablevision just in 1 week, so we'll have to pause for jokes. We can't wait until the end of Cablevision. And little Billy says to little Bobby, "Do you know what procrastination means?" And little Bobby says, "I don't know. I think it's something that the Presbyterians believe in." And folks, "Do you know what procrastination means?" And little Bobby says, "I don't know. I think it's something that the Presbyterians believe in." And folks, answer this question, please. Can you tell me, what do you call a coffee break at the Lipton Tea Company? And a philosopher is a person who knows more and more about less and less until he knows everything about nothing. This is the contract that I signed with Cablevision Long Island, and I think some other Cablevision franchise, Cablevision Yonkers, Cablevision Harrison, Cablevision Yorktown. And Judge Brieant asked me to submit these to him, and we got that done. We got those out. And also I sent him a, see, this is a month. You're looking at a month here. We happen to be looking at the month of September. And this is a chat with Glendora on 11 cable systems, 11 programs a week, and that's 44 programs a month. That's a lot of work just in itself. Anyway, the issue here is the contracts. Judge Brieant asked for the contract. The contracts have been sent. My point is that Kalaji's trying to get out of this by saying that I couldn't be on Cablevision Nassau because it's for community people in Nassau. But when they signed the contract with me, they had plenty of time to read their franchise. They had plenty of time to make the decision, and they put me on the cable TV in Nassau County. So now this is trying to lock the barn after the Model T is stolen. So it's a senseless point that Kalaji makes, but he makes it so that he can get his fee for that week. Okay. Where is it? It's right here. This is the oversized brief. It was too fat. It can only be 70 pages, and it was something like 90. So, and I asked the appellate division to give me permission to file an oversized brief, since I'm oversized at 167 pounds. And the appellate division, 2nd Department, Brooklyn, said no. And so we have spent all week, maybe 30 hours already, reducing this brief, and I've made it. I got it down. Here you are. I'll show you the last page. See, right here. It's 64. So I got it down. I'm allowed 70, so I gave them 6 pages. This is the appendix, which doesn't count. And now all I have to do is go through and change on the table of contents, which is very lengthy, and I showed you once. I was watching it on television. I would show you all these pages of table of contents. So, all that has to be done is finish the table of contents, make a master, send it down, have it printed, 12 copies, and then serve it on Kalaji, 2 copies. I think that's ridiculous, should only be 1. And then submit it to the appellate division, and I talked to them yesterday, and they said I had time to do all that. So here's the old one, the fat one, and here's the new one, and that's going to be slimmer because there's paste-ups on here. I wish I could get slim, but I don't have any time to work on that. I don't have any time to make the resolve. I don't have any time to make a menu of healthful, salubrious eating. And then I don't have any time to go to the grocery shopping, and then I don't have any time to cook it because of all the law breaking. This is the CPLR Article 55, which is appeals generally, Article 56, which is appeals to the appellate division, Article 57, which is appeals to the Court of Appeals, the New York State Court of Appeals. I read some of that every day. I read those rules. I wish I had time to read the cases. This is the Cablevision current file. We are up to volume 21. This is the Cablevision discovery that I copied from the clerk's book in the United States District Court, and it cost me about $20 to copy it, but fortunately Robert Perry came to my rescue and went down to Universal Law store down on Broadway in Manhattan, and I gave him $23, and he brought me this book to the Judge Brieant conference, and I paid him the $23, and it's very, very good. But I don't know how to buy books because there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't need. I don't need multi-district litigation rules, habeas corpus rules, motion attacking sentence rule. I might need evidence. I don't need appellate procedure. I've done all that, and I don't need Supreme Court rules. I'm through with them. Well, there is the Dolan thing before the Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court. But I do need civil procedure and maybe evidence. But you see, I shouldn't have bought such a great big book. I should have got a different book. 15 minutes a day. I should be reading the New York statutes. Remember, I started out reading the New York statutes, and I was doing great until this law-breaking of Cablevision and their lying and their cover-up had overwhelming, plus that of all those other lawbreakers. I'm trying to cue this up. I have a conversation to play for you. In the meantime, I want to tell you about, these are the franchises, the Cablevision franchises in Long Island, some of them. There are 66. And this is a few of them, maybe 12 of them. This is outrageous. All of this is on one side of the paper. Think of the trees at this murder, okay? Think of the irresponsibility, the immaturity, and the violation of the environment. This was sent by Strickland, Kalagi, Satterley, Stevens, Burke, and Burke. That's ridiculous. So I have had to go through all of these and use up the sides. I've used up, and I had to paginate it. It was unpaginated. And I've used up approximately 500 pages. I've used up the backs. And then Franklin went through this morning, and then you have to refile them. After you use up the backs, you've got to refile all the pages. That takes about an hour.
You're a very smart young man. I know. So smart I got
This is great. And he says, I'm very smart. I have piles and piles and piles of stuff I can't get done. I certainly know the feeling. You'll all be so does Mr. Perry. Now, Franklin went through and he paginated this. This is 750 pages. And so that we had to, as I say, he paginated them, and now I'm going to use up the backs. It's tough using up backs, because when you use up backs, you can't throw it away. If you use up scrap paper, that's different. When you go down to Office Max and say, do you have any scrap paper? I want to save the trees, and they give you scrap papers. And the one side you don't care about, so you can use up the other side. And he said the thing that he laughed about out loud.
It's embarrassing to see him from District Glendora thinking he doesn't get his fee for the week. I think you're right. I don't know why they retained him. No? Anyway, your work was brilliant. I know we have things.
He won. Graefman won. Now, so that's it. I got to go and use these up. And as I say, when you use up these backs, you have to be very careful, because you got to use them for something that can't be thrown away, because the backs have to be saved. Now, wait. Okay, this conversation I want to play for you. Let me cue it up. State Court of Appeals, and got the instructions how to file a notice, a motion, and a motion for leave to appeal the very, very bad decisions, unbelievably bad decisions of the Appellate Division, 2nd Department on Glendora versus Amacone, Del Vecchio, and the White Plains Building Department, and on Glendora versus CBS. That would be Stringer and Bresnan and Abraziz and Peter Lund and Marty Daly and Matt Steinfeld and Matthew Margot. Good news. Both Stringer and Beth Bresson have left CBS.
How is everybody up there in Albany? Fine. Yeah? Did you ever see anybody who saw me back in TV?
Good news.
I haven't talked about that lately, because you haven't been
You can't
up
do
here,
things
but
like
now
that.
You're going to file papers, and we'll find
That
some other people.
justice had its day there.
Okay, take care.
And I'm going to say that probably at the annual meeting, but more about that later. Anyway, yesterday I started writing the Amacone notice of motion and motion for leave to appeal, and also the CBS one. I have to work on that 15 minutes a day. I only have 30 days, of course, as with any appeal, to get it in.
I have an address change. I'm going to try.
This is the senior citizens. I have an address change, but they're not too sure they can keep up with address change.
Who's calling?
I'm coming up to this conversation for you to hear. Now, this was yesterday morning. If we can get it queued up, this is Katie Cap. This is with the New York State Attorney General's office. They still have no answer to my question. Are they going to intervene on my appeal, Glendora versus Cofalt Cablevision?
It's also saying that a requirement that cable operators make channel capacity available for public access used on a first-come, first-served basis is justified by a substantial state interest. They're also saying that their Cablevision's constitutional rights are being violated by the New York state law. Hello, Glendora.
I read them what Cablevision is saying, that it's the PEG laws, public, educational, and governmental access laws, are unconstitutional, and that they don't have any grounds to say first come, first serve. And it has to be... This is a conversation to Scott Brown.
Talking about TCI.
And I'm going to read you that letter. I said something good about TCI to the mayor of White Plains. Chester Law Journal. Lila Kaplan, the court stenographer. Manhattan City Court. $740 for the minute. That's a real problem.
So if you would leave a message, she will call you back as soon as she possibly can. Thanks, Lois. Bye. Hi, Lila. It's Glendora. How much would the minutes cost? First one to my letter that I wrote you that just mentioned those parts where the judge refused to hear my audio tape evidence and refused to let me use my log as evidence. This is April the 11th, a beautiful day, thank God, 1995, Tuesday. At 11:30 a.m. My number is 914-949-9495. $740 for the minutes just precludes justice. There's just no way a person can afford that. And if a person can't afford it, then a person is being denied justice. And that's a terrible thing to do to anybody in the United States of America. We've got to resolve this. Thank you. Bye-bye. If the Attorney General is going to intervene on Glendora versus Cofalt Cablevision in the appellate division, I have no idea. Hold on, please.
This has gone on for 3 months.
For 3 months, nobody's had any idea. Okay, I'll try to be opposed to appeals and opinion. That's where I believe that's being handled. Where? Appeals and opinion, please. Oh, okay. What's that number, please? 416-8020. Thank you. Appeals and opinions. Thank
212, of course. New York State Attorney General's Office.
Solicitor General's Office. Hi, can you tell me if the Attorney General is going to intervene on Glendora versus Cofalt? They haven't made a decision on that yet. Now in the appellate division? No, they have not. Well, they better hurry, because they have to get it in. They know that. Okay. I've been asking for 3 months, and nobody ever knows. I'm sorry, but I can't give you any other answer than that. Okay, did they tell you when they're going to decide? No, ma'am, they did not. Okay, well, they have to decide sometime this week or next. I believe that they're aware of that. Okay, now who is in charge over there? Who's in charge? The Solicitor General. Okay. And what's his number? You have his number. Well, what number that you're speaking to now? Okay, what's his name? Her name is Victoria Graffio. Oh, thanks. Spell her last name, please. Graffeo. Graffeo. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Bye. 11:40 a.m. April 11th, 95,
Tuesday.
Good morning, 9495. Is this Glendora? Yeah. Well, this is Allison Strickland. It's Natalie Stevens Birkenberg. Yes. I received your notice of motion in the Glendora Deaconette case. Who? The Glendora Deaconette case, notice of motion. Well, you're not on that case. Natalie Stevens Birkenberg is. Well, you're not. Yes, I am. Since when? That doesn't matter, Glendora. It matters to me since when. Answer the question. I don't have to answer your question. The question I have for you is goodbye. I don't have to answer your question.
Now, that just can't be. Because this case was started before she was ever born. This case started way back in 1990. This is the Gannett libel case. I sued Gannett for breach of contract. They wrote a report in the paper that was not a true report of a judicial proceeding. It was libelous. I sued them for libel. Burroughs made a bad decision. I appealed it in the appellate division of the second department, and they made a bad decision. And so Kalaji's trying to, this happened all 4 years ago, and so Kalaji's trying to collect costs. And so I made a motion to Judge Burroughs to enjoin Kalaji from collecting his costs on Gannett libel, just as Kalaji had made an order to show cause to Judge Silverman to enjoin me from collecting my costs on Cablevision, and he's done it twice. So that's my motion to Burroughs, and I'll be reading that to you shortly. So I think that we have finished with Cablevision, and all of a sudden we're in the middle of Gannett. So let us pause for the jokes, and then we'll pick up and tell you the rest of what happened on Glendora versus the Gannett bad management. Gannett newspapers. The English language. We drive on a parkway and we park on a driveway. And what is the formula for water? What is the formula for water? H2O, right. Now what's the formula for an ice cube? H2O squared. And why is living in California like eating granola? After you get done with the nuts and the fruit, there's plenty of flakes left. And again, the nice article about Friedrich Strauss, and also the good work that he does at the White Plains Public Access Commission. He has been wonderful to chat with Glendora. We are deeply grateful to him. He's really come up with something now so that we can go directly from 8mm into the Sony player, 5700 or whatever it is, over into the Sony recorder. And out of the Sony recorder we get a 3/4 inch videotape for the cable companies. Simultaneously coming out of the Sony recorder we get a VHS and an 8mm. And I'm in the process of changing over my archives from VHS to 8mm, so we thank Friedrich Strauss for that. And we thank Rita Santos and Gary Stukes. Typewriter, and I gave it to the church in case anybody up there or comes along who is handy and knows how to fix it. And I forgot to give them this daisy wheel. This is a very good daisy wheel. It's in script. And so I can't use it because I've given up my big brother typewriter. I still have my kid brother typewriter that makes graphs. So this goes, if anybody wants this, let me know. This is a daisy wheel for Brother AX22 or something like that typewriter. And if you want it, you can have it. It makes a very nice script. Glendora versus Gannett, Broderick, John Curley and all those people. Here's the current file on that, which is very, very fat, as you can see. Just as I am fat, this is volume 40 of the law breaking of the Gannett management. And the courts do nothing about it. The big thing, of course, was that this week sometime, April the 7th. What day was April the 7th? The 4th was Tuesday, the 6th is Friday. So last Friday, within this period that we're reporting on, this great big motion went out to Judge Burroughs to enjoin Robert Kalaji from collecting costs on the Gannett libel suit, his cost of $535. He submitted over $1,000, and Judge Burroughs and Charles Devlin whittled it down to $535. And it's a big fat motion, and it's 62 pages. And this is essentially the same motion that I submitted in the form of an order to show cause, and it was not signed. And so the reason given was that it was not an order to show cause. It didn't have an emergency nature about it, and it would have been better submitted as a motion. So about 2 months later, I finally got time to submit it as a motion. Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Westchester, Glendora plaintiff versus John Curley. Gannett Suburban Newspapers, Gary Watson, Gary Sherlock, Lawrence K. Beaupre, Evelyn McCormick, and Kevin Gray. Evelyn McCormick is out, and Kevin Gray is out. Good. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 to go. Notice the motion. Judge Gordon R. Burroughs. Please take notice that upon the attached affidavit of Glendora sworn to April 7, 1995, and upon all prior pleadings had herein, plaintiff Glendora will move this court at 111 Grove Street, White Plains, New York, 10601, on the 7th day of April 1995 at 9:30 a.m. or soon thereafter, as plaintiff can be heard, for an order enjoining Robert M. Kalaji from collecting costs from Glendora until he stops preventing Glendora from collecting her costs in the Judge Silverman's court. And the rest of the paper is really what you read or was read to you before. And it actually reproduces my show cause to Judge Silverman, why he shouldn't rob me of my costs once and then a second time. And so that's essentially the same paper, and I add to this how unfair